Okay, hi guys, this is Kelly with Cleanly Consumed, and today I get to interview Adi with Kavana Spa. So hi, happy Friday morning, Adi.
Happy Friday morning to you also, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad it's Friday so we can relax and rejuvenate. So we could just jump right in. We're talking about stress and self-management tips and allergies. You know, we live in Houston, so a lot of people and a lot of our clients have been complaining about not feeling well and being tired and tension, and what can they do to kind of be their own health advocate. So I wanted to just hear more about what you do, because I know you've helped me personally and you've helped a lot of people in our area. So I want to see and ask you, how does your center differ from others out there? Because you're a medical massage therapist, but how does that differ from traditional massage therapists or massage clinics?
Okay, well, that's both an easy question to answer and a difficult question to answer.
I know.
So as far as basic training, we all have the same basic training, but in order to be able to legitimately give yourself the title of a medical massage, therapy practice, or even a medical massage therapist, it means that you've gone through many, many, many more hours of training. It means you have in-depth knowledge about the human body, medical conditions, how to use massage as a tool to effectively improve, or even, even though I'm not allowed to say it, eliminate, medical conditions. Also an in-depth knowledge also about, the modern medical world also. Like many times when we have aches and pains, for example, we think that they are muscular in origin, and sometimes they're not. For example, one of the very common ones on my massage table is people will come in with hip pain. Mm-hmm. And they think that the hip pain, it feels like muscular pain. And when I have a client on my massage table, I will typically do a very thorough assessment on them, including having them, write down all the different medications that they're taking. And after offering somebody, a first massage, usually the results are that the person feels better after a first, and definitely after a second massage. If they're coming in for a medical condition or any type of ache or pain that can be resolved through massage, you should feel better after the first or second visit. You might not feel 100% improvement, but you should feel improved. And so, for example, with certain hip problems or hip pain, after, I've had clients come to me after a first or second visit and, report to me that they didn't feel better. And then I'll look at their initial intake form and I'll see that they are on statins, for example. And one of the possible side effects of taking statins, which is for, one of the things that doctors like to use for cholesterol reduction, one of the side effects for that is hip pain. And so as a medical massage therapist, I need to also understand the side effects of, medicines, the effects of medicines on the body, not just understanding the body itself, but those things that, the body is exposed to, whether it be, drugs, repetitive stress injuries, excuse me, just a wide variety of things. I need to be able to understand how emotions affect the body, how stress affects the body. So anyway, and so being able to take all of that information and apply it to creating a treatment plan for the person on my table. And that's something that's also different than, what you experience traditionally in a typical massage establishment. Is a medical massage practitioner will typically have a treatment plan in place to be able to create a plan on how to, alleviate the symptoms that a person's coming in for. And we tend to take quite a holistic approach. Sorry for the long answer.
No, I'm intrigued. That's wonderful, because actually I never had heard about statins and hip pain. And I know of so many people, especially as we age, start having hip pain. So I'm going to file that in the back of my head. So that was very interesting.
It's really interesting. Yeah, there's so many things that people come to me for that after a visit or two, I'm like, this is not muscular in origin. This is something else. And then I'll ask them, can you write down all your medicines that you're taking? And it's amazing how many are just, in how many cases it's a side effect of a medicine that they're taking. It's really interesting.
Okay, so when we're talking about emotions and how much they can affect the body, so one of the things that
Absolutely.
You and I both get asked a lot is, how do you manage your own personal stress? And so I was curious at where do you see either yourself, but really your clients, where do you see them storing their stress for the most part?
Gosh, it's really individual. There's a lot of research that has been done into like the somato-emotional connection, like the connection between our emotions and our body and how we store it. And so different people store stress in different parts of the body depending on the type of emotions that they're dealing with. So for example, if you're trying to figure out why, in some, for example, the knees. Knees are typically a symbol of, they're a symbol of moving forward. Mm-hmm. And so if you're afraid of moving forward in life, there's something that's holding you back and you feel like you need to go forward, but there's fear associated with it. For example, you will have knee pain. Okay. A person who's afraid of speaking their voice, like they're holding in, they're speaking their mind, they're holding in their feelings and their emotions and not expressing them verbally, will typically have can have throat pain, can have jaw issues, holding, tension in their jaws. So they're holding their mouths closed. Sorry?
And I think, I don't know if I mentioned to you, when I was in college, my jaw literally locked shut from stress. And I had to go through therapy and they had to pop it and move it back into place. So I don't know what was going on when I was, I don't know how old you're in college, 20, but maybe I needed my voice.
And so as a result, it's really interesting. TMJ issues are more prevalent in women than they are in men. And I have to say, in the 20 years that I have been practicing, I will attest to the validity of that. And I think it's, also cultural. Like, we tend as women to hold in our words. We don't want to be impolite or be perceived of, in a negative way. And so we don't always speak our minds. And typically, so as you move through the emotionally, if you move through the things that are blocking your path mm-hmm. from moving forward, the physical manifestation of that also goes away as you move through the emotional component of it. So, for example, like lower back pain is typically, stress that you store related to a lack of sense of support. You're feeling unsupported or financially unsupported, lower back pain, hip pain. So it's really interesting.
So what about shoulders, like neck and shoulders?
Gosh, so, if you think about the way there are a lot of sayings that we have that are, that attest to, our mind, our somato-emotional connection, our mind-body connection. So whenever people talk about, there is that saying, that you are stubborn or stiff-necked, right? Mm-hmm. So neck tension a lot of times is as a result of, being too rigid, being stubborn, having an unwillingness to do something differently or hear another perspective. Of course, none of this is written into stone. We can have just neck tension just from the way we sit at our desk all day, driving behind our car with our head in a head forward position. Even the way I'm sitting right now is terrible for my neck.
Sitting up straight.
It could be, caused by, the way we sleep, the pillows that we use. So the neck has more things that affect it than most other parts of our body.
But I think what's important is that when you're trying to get to the root of the problem, just like you were mentioning when the hip pain wasn't getting better through the first visit, when you start digging deeper, eventually you're going to find, the root cause. So that's one difference in your practice, is that you really start asking those questions, which makes your practice that much more unique.
Right. We ask lots of questions. It's really funny. People are always surprised. They're like, wow, there's a lot of talking on your massage table. And it's not unpleasant. I mean, of course, if somebody doesn't want to talk, we can have a completely quiet massage. But even in a completely quiet massage, there will always be initially a lot of intimate conversation if a person's comfortable with that. Of course, again, I always respect people's place of comfort and their boundaries. But the conversation, like the initial, like getting to know you, is very, very important, as well as every time a person returns to the table, even if they've seen me many times, every time a person returns to my table, there is quite a bit of conversation that takes place for me to understand what is going on in your world, what's going on with you, how are you feeling, everything from what are your goals and intentions in the massage to what's going on in your life, because all of that affects what we're feeling in our bodies. Mm-hmm. And it's crucial for me to know. And it's really interesting, while people are talking to me about what's going on in their lives, I pay attention to what they're doing with their bodies as they are communicating with me what's going on in their life. So I'm paying attention. So if somebody starts telling me about their children, and I start to watch, what are they doing with their neck and their shoulders? What are they doing with their breathing? Are they holding their breath? And so people are not aware, but I'm actually paying attention to every single one of those details. So I can say, I'm like, oh, they're very stressed out about what's going on with their kids, in their kids' world, or what's going on at work, or with their spouse. And so, and as I'm paying attention, I make little mental notes, and little by little during the session, I'll also bring it back up to the client, and I'll let them know, like, I noticed that when you were talking about this, you were holding your breath. And I help to bring the person's awareness back to themselves so that they have more awareness as to how they're physically responding to the things that are going on with them emotionally.
No, I think that's powerful.
So it's a very holistic approach.
I think that's powerful. I think that you are empowering them to have more self-awareness so that they can make the, day-to-day changes in their life. They can't come see you every day. So it sounds like you're also empowering them with each visit. So what are some self-care tips in handling stress that, you probably have a better handle on that than most people because you're aware and you have training, but what are a few self-care tips for stress?
Oh my gosh. So there are a couple basic ones, I guess. First of all, is gratitude. I think creating a very robust, regular practice of gratitude is one of the most important things that we can do. And by gratitude, it's becoming aware of those things in our life that are good, that we're grateful for. And they can be everything, tiny things from, a beautiful flower, blooming in your garden, to your kid bringing you, a wonderful drawing, or your spouse, suddenly thinking of you and bringing you, a cup of coffee to bed, or, before you even woke up in the morning. It can be all kinds of little things. But gratitude creates a sense of wellness. And the more we practice gratitude, the better we feel about ourselves, the world around us, the more supported we feel. So gratitude, starting your day being grateful for 3 things, ending your day being grateful for 3 things, is very important. Breath, making sure that you're breathing. As crazy as it may sound, most of us forget to breathe. And so breath is a very, very important part of stress management. Our body needs oxygen. And so taking long, slow, deep breaths whenever we remember is very, very important. Starting our day with a few minutes of mindfulness, being present in the moment. So just, even if it's just, spending 1 minute.
Right.
By starting with 1 minute in the morning before you jump out of bed, just taking some long, deep breaths, becoming aware of yourself, becoming aware of where you're at, saying the 3 things that you're grateful for, setting your emotional intention for the day. or just setting your general intention for the day, and then, just getting out of the bed, slowly using that. It doesn't have to be more than a minute to 5 minutes. If you want to have a longer, mindfulness or meditation practice in the morning, you can, but not everybody has that available to them. But it's amazing. You can even, achieve a lot in anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes in the morning. And then at the end of the day, do the same, kind of review your day in your head, think of the things that you're grateful for, do some long, deep breathing, become aware of yourself. And it's very little things that can be very profound that make the difference in how we experience stress, on a day-to-day basis, and how we alleviate stress on a day-to-day basis.
I don't think people realize how stressed out they are, because I think they are just used to it. They wake up, they jump up, they run, they do their day. Like my son said this morning when he was going to school, he said, I slept great last night. I'm going to have a great day. So I think sometimes as adults, if we look back at our kids, we can learn from our kids too. So when he said that, I was like, absolutely, we're going to have a great day. You know what? I slept really well too. So I think you do have that time. And if you don't feel like you have that 1 or 3 minutes, you could, if you can't do a gratitude journal, then like you're saying, it's just 1 minute, or you can share that minute with somebody else. You can share it with your child when you're walking into school, and you can both kind of tell each other what you're grateful for. That the appointment went good, or the meeting went good, or the test was awesome, they felt prepared. But, and instilling that in your kids at the same time. So that's pretty impressive that, that's another way that your practice differs from others. I think people have no idea what a medical massage therapist can do, which reminds me that I wanted to ask about just some testimonials that kind of come to mind of some people that just felt, discouraged or anxious about like a long-term pain or symptom that they were having, and they kind of felt hopeless. And then you just kind of kept asking questions and treated it from a whole body approach with their mind as well. So do you have any testimonials that come to mind?
Sure. I had one client. She was unusual in how quickly the treatment, helped her. But she suffered. She was, I think, in her late 60s. And, excuse me, sorry. And she had severe vertigo. And she saw her doctor. Her doctor checked her from head to toe and said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. But I will send you to a D. So her doctor had actually referred her to me. And she lay down on my table, and I started to feel her neck and her jaw. And both of them were very, very tight. And so I immediately, developed an idea that maybe it could be like her muscles could be so tight that they could be, putting pressure on her vertebral artery, which can cause ringing in the ears or vertigo. Mm-hmm. And so I started to, that's what I did. I set up a protocol for, massage to relieve, the pressure on the vertebral artery, and then just in general for the head itself to release the muscles of the head and neck. And by the end of that first session, the vertigo was entirely gone, and she never suffered with it again.
Oh my gosh.
She was unusual. It's not that many people have that dramatic of a result after their first, massage. It's not that it's impossible. It's just unusual. People usually need at least, minimum of 2 or 3 sessions to.
But you're talking. But you're talking about 2 to 3 sessions or 1 session, and I know every person's different. You have cases where you have to peel a lot of the layers to get that kind of result. But right. 1 session, 3 sessions, 10 sessions, 15 sessions is minimal. Correct. Compared to years of suffering and the anxiety and stress that go with the unknown of not knowing. And so I know that you're really passionate about that, so much that you're having a retreat coming up in May. So can you tell us a little about this wellness retreat coming up May 17th, I believe? Sorry about that.
Yes, we're really, really excited. I'm hosting it together with Amy Malkin, who's an amazing artist and author, and passionate about wellness and self-empowerment. And so her and I are doing a wellness retreat May 17th to the 19th. and we're doing it on Lake Houston at a beautiful house on the lake.
Ooh.
And it's going to be a weekend that is filled with mindfulness activities, becoming aware of ourselves, our emotions, and how to work with them. So we're going to be doing that through yoga, meditation, art. We're going to build a beautiful labyrinth in the process of self-exploration. We're going to be doing food meditation. It's just going to be special. We're going to do self-massage, as well as for those who want to receive massage. We will have massage therapists there also offering massage also. So it's just going to be a wonderful wellness weekend, May 17th to the 19th, and we're really excited about that.
And so if they wanted to register for that, I'm going to put a link. Is there a link that they can register, or well, I'll get the registration?
Yes, we're going to put the Eventbrite link up, I believe, today.
Oh, perfect.
We're going to have it active, the Eventbrite link.
Awesome. And that reminded me, I had just found out.
Yeah,
I had just found out about that. I had just found out and heard about this movie called Heal, and it talks about the emotional connection of long-term pain or illnesses. And so, you know, when I heard about your retreat, I just thought, I keep hearing so much about anxiety and stress and how they're attached to long-term pain and suffering. And it just hurts my heart when I hear people that have long-term pain. And when I hear stories of that testimonial, the woman with vertigo, I mean, literally inside, I just wanted to have tears of joy. I'm so excited that she has relief. So I love your mission, and I love that it's not just one person after another, that it sounds like you really try and get to know your clients. I know going through a detox, sometimes you have hercs or die-off symptoms, and you really helped me with that. I mean, I had, you know, the next day that symptom was gone. So, you know, that wasn't a long-term problem of mine, but it was very disruptive in my day. You know, I had been doing a detox, and I think people don't realize that you have to take steps to detox and how massage can help you. So that might be a topic that we can talk about another time, is detox and how you can help with that. I know that you can. You did for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be fun. I would love that. We can talk about lymphatic drainage and, you know, obviously, you know, herbs, etc. Got, you know, supplements for the gut to help detox. I mean, there's so many wonderful things that you and I can talk about on, you know, detoxing.
And then for you guys that don't know, Kavana Spa is located in the Houston area, and it's fairly central. It's just west of the medical center, maybe 12 minutes from the medical center. So it's kind of in the heart of Houston, and Adi has other staff as well, and you train others as well. So we can get into that another time. But thank you so much. I know we could talk forever because I learn things from you every time I talk to you, but I'll make sure I get all the details for the registration from the wellness retreat, and maybe I can go. So I'll have to see if I can get a self-care. And when's Mother's Day?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. I need to look it up. It might be pretty close to Mother's Day.
And that would be a good time to ask, can I go to this wellness retreat?
There you go. So we have to start telling the dads about this.
Yeah. Like, you can use that as incentive to allow you to not feel guilty and anxious about going. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Me too. It was such a pleasure talking to you, Kellie. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Okay.